salespeople, and so I get very excited when I look at salespeople because I know that salespeople change the world. Do salespeople change the world? Yes, absolutely, and it's a passion that we have to go change the world. So really, over the last 20 over years, in traveling the world, in writing books, in speaking in a lot of conferences, and speaking in a lot of radio and TV and things like that, I have managed to actually learn a lot of interesting things from salespeople and what makes them successful and what makes them, get motivated to achieve the greatest things that they have set their life to focus on. So I want to share a couple of key things with you today so that when you go back, you can immediately use this to help yourself become even more successful. Okay, go along. Now, what does it mean by going for gold? What is our topic about when we say going for gold? When you think of the word gold, what do you think of? You think of money. Okay, what else? When you think of gold, it's precious, it's pure, it's, the thing that is the ultimate. So when we talk about going for gold, we're talking about going for the best. We're talking about doing the best. We're talking about being the best. So I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, I want to be the best. Turn to your neighbor and say, I want to be the best. Yes, and turn to them and say again, I believe that you can be the best. Now, there are a lot of success stories that we are seeing today. Just sitting there and listening to some of the results that have been shared is really, really exciting. I know in the last quarter, HLA, from a traditional life point of view, you guys are the market leader now. You are the market leader, way even in front of some of your other competitors around you. It's something to be proud of. However, why is it important to continue pushing for gold? Why is it what we do today is not sufficient? Why is it we must do more? Ladies and gentlemen, because today the competition also wants to go for the gold. In a couple of weeks' time, we will be around Olympics time, Olympics fever, correct? And this year's Olympics is going to be held in London. Now, we all know that when it comes to Olympics, when it comes to a prize, only one person or one team can really reach the goal, right? If you don't get the gold, you can get the silver. If you can't get the silver, you get the bronze. But if you don't get the bronze, you get nothing. So here, what we are focusing on is talking about how we as agents should be focusing on excellence. We want to focus on going for the best. We want to focus on being the best. Are you ready to be the best? Yes? All right, let's move on. So, very quickly, with your neighbor, I want you to think of one animal that best represents you, and tell them what that animal is and why. Very quickly, I'll give you 30 seconds. Very good. Now, I ask you that question because it's a very specific start to what we are talking about in this program. We are talking about what motivates you. Do you know that the way that you explain or express the animal that you belong to talks a lot and tells a lot about your personality and what motivates you? I remember about 20 over years ago, my first sales job, I was selling IBM mainframe machines. IBM mainframe, the old ones, 20 over years ago, the ones that they use in the banks. And I remember that in my first 6 months, for some particular reason, I was able to understand the industry really well and do really well in that business. And I started to bring in a lot of sales for the company. And I asked my boss, how do I sustain my success and sustain my results going forward? Because I know in 6 months, I've broken all the record that you have set, for a novice and for an entry sales guy. And he said, Ray, you just have to be the animal that you are today. And I was like, what? Still be an animal? Yeah, what kind of animal? When I think of an animal in you, I think of the dog. So I said, boss, yeah, I know I'm a dog because I'm working, so hard like a dog, right? In order to achieve the results. My boss says, no, it's more than that. When I see you as an animal, I see you as a dog that bites the bone, and when he sees the bone, it never lets go and continues to bite until he gets down to the finish. And you know what? I never forget 20 over years ago what my first boss told me. He said that I was that dog who bit on that bone and would never let go and never let go until I got the juice out of everything. And that has become the motto of my life. Now, why is it I mentioned that story? Because all of us need that one story in our life. All of us need that one point in our life where we know what we may do matters and what drives us and what motivates us. To go back and think about which animal will you represent and which animal symbolizes you as you focus in your success of going for gold. Do you know what I mean? Awesome. Really, really good. Very quickly, I want to ask you right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself now in the business? Just really, 1 to 10. 10 being I'm on top of the world. 1, I'm a bit lost and still trying to find myself. Very quickly, and you can use the handout if you want, but very quickly, just rate yourself now. 1 to 10. What is that rating you would give yourself right now? Okay, I want you to start with a benchmark in your mind. What rating do you have in your mind? And all of us can think about a lot of things, right? We can think about our green activities. We can start thinking about our ability to engage a customer in phone calls, our ability to have that appointments, our ability to have that closing interview. But more importantly, we think about the type of cases that we're closing. We also think about the type of FYP that we're bringing in. But think about how you want to rate yourself. Keep that number in your mind right now. And very quickly with that number, translate now to what are the 3 top challenges you face right now in your business. Very quickly, write down what are the 3 top challenges that you face right now. I want you to kind of surface it out right now. What are the 3 top challenges that you face in your business right now? Getting more knowledge about the industry or even about the products. Products? Okay, very good. What about this lady in the orange here? What is one challenge that you face in your business today? Procrastinating, taking it easy. Taking it easy, okay. Anyone else? What about the lady in the red there from that corner? If I can ask you to very quickly shout out, what's one challenge you face in your business today? Objection? Okay. What are you? Sorry? More, you want to get more customers, you want to get more leads. Okay, I've got one person shouting objections. Now, in the midst of all the challenges you face, there is a formula to a lot of these things. There is a formula. Okay, I've given you 4 key things if you want to be successful in this business. Okay? If you want to be successful in this business, there are 4 key things you need to remember. And these are the 4 things. We need to be focused on these things about knowing your customer, understanding what motivates your customer, which is the disposition, which is their reaction to what they want, your client engagement in terms of the activities that you have with them, and also how you retain your customers in order to get that trust, that loyalty, and that continual referral. Now, these are 4 key things that we all need to be successful in this business. Now, I've done this for 20 over years, and in some part of my career, I was also an insurance agent myself. And I know that there are a lot of things that we need to go through in order to be successful in what we do. But these are 4 things over the years in working with a lot of agents, working with a lot of customers, I realized that these are 4 things that matter a lot. So keep those 4 things in mind, and what I'll do is, because of time, I'll select a few to focus on. Okay? Sounds good? Ken? Alright. One of the things we want to talk about is knowing your customer. When you know your customer, there are a few things you want to really get to a measure, and these are the things you want to do. You want to know what your customers are and what are their appetites. See, every customer has got a different appetite. It's kind of like eating lunch, eating dinner, right? Eating supper. I remember that when I spent so much time in the US, that one of my favorite foods it's always about Western food. It's always about the fried food. It's always about the Coca-Cola. It's always about the fast food. You know, and I was like that for many, many years. And there was a time that my wife got so fed up with me because he says that, don't you want to eat something else besides your fast food? And I was like, no, it tastes very good to me all the time anyway. But after a period of time, my appetite started to change. I started to like pure, clean, steam type fish. And I really like steamed fish. How many you like steamed fish? You like steamed fish. Now I started to have an appetite for steamed fish, and my wife couldn't understand why from fast food, that I would suddenly like steamed fish. Your customers are like that today when it comes to your insurance policies as well. It doesn't mean that all the time that they are so used to getting the traditional plan from you that they will not go for the investment-linked type plans as well. You have to know at what point of time your customer is moving along in their career in life, with the size that they're growing in the family, with the type of challenges that are coming to them. What focus would they be looking for? Okay? Investment, protection, savings, what motivates them? What is their need? Are they into fast returns? Are they into safe returns? Are they into more control? Or are they into more convenience? Now here's very interesting, because a lot of us, if I ask you, you may not entirely know what your customer wants. You know, I have an agent who has been with me for many, many years. 20 over years, he's been my agent. You know what? Although he has been my agent for 20 over years, I don't really feel he knows my appetite. Now, I've bought probably about 8 different policies from him. Don't you like a customer like that? 8 different policies over the years, and I keep increasing some more, right? So I bought 8 different policies from him. So time and time again, I would forget what I buy. I would forget what is the amount of sum assured that I would have and what type of protection I would have. I would forget. I would even forget the amount of premium I have to pay, right? Because it's auto debit anyway. So what happens is after a while, I'll give him a call and say, hey, actually, how much have I invested with you? And you know, how much is my premium that I'm paying so far? He will never have that in his fingertips. He will never have it in his fingertips. He will always have to tell me that I'm going to come back and tell you next week. So I have to find time again next week to go see him. And guess what? When I get too busy, it becomes 3 months later before he comes and see me with that. You know what's my appetite? My appetite is full service convenience. Don't expect me to remember. I expect you to remember because you are my agent. Are you with me so far? But there are some customers which are very particular. They remember more than you even remember. Because what they want is what? They want more self-control. These are things that your customer tells you about who they are and what motivates them. I want to share with you some secret about what motivation is. Okay? And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to share with you 8 things about motivation. Very quickly, and I'll make 3 key points about what I want to say. A lot of us, when we have customers, we don't realize where the customer mix is. Okay? But if you realize where your customer mix is, when you have a good idea what type of customers is made up of your portfolio, you have a better chance of knowing what else to sell them. Are you with me so far? If you know that the type of customers mostly come from your family members, introduction from your family members, and most of them are always new policies coming from introduction for family members, it tells you one thing. It tells you that, yes, I can get a lot of new clients coming from this group, but there's also an opportunity selling them something else because they're always only buying new policies. Okay? So, what is your demographics? What type of customers are you dealing with? Which group are you most consistent in terms of cases? Now, some of us are expert in winning new cases, especially when it comes to very, very simple plans. Very, very simple plans, and we can just load up the cases. Now, some of us, we only sell maybe 1 case in 2 months, but high premium. Are you with me so far? High premium. Now, which one is better? Which one is better? More cases or higher premium? What do you think? The answer is both. The answer is both. The answer is both because what we need is to build a business that is sustainable, not build a business that's only based on a certain trend. Are you with me so far? Okay? Now, you see, what we are motivated by is motivated by at this level below the iceberg. You guys know the iceberg, right? You guys seen Titanic, right? Have you seen Titanic? Do you know that if you read back about Titanic, right? Titanic was built, right, with minimal support boats, you know. Because they are so confident that it would never sink. So they built with very minimal support boats. So therefore, even though the ship crashed and capsized, and there's an opportunity to save more people, they didn't have enough boats because they were not prepared for it. Because they didn't realize that a lot of what happened below the surface. Your customer's decision to buy from you, most of it happens below the surface, not on top of the surface. You know what's on top of the surface? On top of the surface are things like, you know what, the plan you offered me, quite affordable. I don't mind doing it. Since it only cost me 100 ringgit a month anyway. That is IQ. Are you with me so far? But a customer who understands what is the real need of the type of protection that they need from you and commit to reprioritize their finances in order to afford a $500 premium a month from you, understands this from this point of view, which is a more emotional rather than just logical, because they know it's a need that's being met. Your customers are not motivated by here, they are motivated by here. It's not motivated by their IQ, it's motivated by their EQ. Motivated by the fact of how well they feel connected to you and how motivated they are to you to see how much you can contribute to them. Okay, what's the connection? Okay? So, I will share with you very quickly 8 things which are what we call key motivational drivers, and I want to go into something a little bit more salesy. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because motivation is something that helps people focus. Motivation is something that helps people take urgency. Okay? If you know what are the top 3 things that motivates your customer, you will be able to position the right message and the right product at the right time. Are you with me so far? Yes? As we do this, right, what I want you to do is do it for yourself. Do it for Ken? Okay. So the first one is what we call belonging and love. Now, belonging and love stands for the things that motivate a person either due to family or due to friendship. Okay, we are motivated either due to family or due to friendship. Because if I ask you today, are you motivated by money? What would be the answer? What would be the answer? Yes? I only have a few people here in front motivated by money. Behind motivated by what? Go. Okay, very good. Now, really, if I were to tell you a little bit more, money in itself is actually not a motivator. Money is an outcome of a motivator. We are motivated because of these 8 things. These 8 things result in the outcome of money. Are you with me so far? It's like if I ask you, why do you need money? Some of us will say, I need money because I need to buy the things that I want to buy. Right? And ask another person, why do you need money? Oh, I need the money because money proves to the world that I'm successful. Another person, why do you need money? I need money because it's to have security for my family. Are you with me so far? So there's always something else that motivates us. And in life, these 8 things are the top 8. So the first one is we are motivated by either relationship or the sense of belonging between our family members or our colleagues. Belonging and love. Second is security and control. Security and control stands for the ability to have control of things. Meaning, if I know something is going to happen, I expect it to happen, and I want it to be consistently happening. Right? Things must be consistent. For example, if you expect $10,000 commission to come through every month, right, in your bank account, but the next few months, you only get $3,000 a month coming in, what's going to happen? You're going to feel a gap, right? You're going to feel anxious. Now, those of you, that sense of anxiousness is that sense of motivated by security and control, right? Now, my wife has a high motivation for security and control. She doesn't feel that she needs to control me, but I really feel that she wants to control me. How many here have you have that sense where your spouse wants to control you? Or at least give you the feeling, right? Sometimes they don't even know they want to control you, but they are motivated by this sense. Now, how do I know? Because my wife, even though she's on the phone call, what's going to happen is that I may be driving on a street that I've been driving for the last 10,000 times. The moment we reach that street, she's on the phone call, but her right hand will go. You understand what I'm saying? High drive for security and control, right? So, some people are motivated by that. Now, some of us are motivated by diversity. Diversity means that you cannot stick to something similar all the time. You have to try different things. You have to do different things in order to feel happy. The fourth one is recognition and significance. When you receive an award up here, you get your name announced out. How do you feel? You feel good? You feel excited? Yes. Guess what? Some of us are even more excited than others. You know, some of us, when we got our names pronounced wrongly, oh, we are okay, no big deal about it. But some of us, when our names get pronounced wrongly, we will take the microphone from the MC. Sorry, my name is, high need for that sense of recognition to make sure that things are being done right in public. Okay? Next one, growth and challenges. Some of us like doing this work because it's challenging. I don't know about you guys, but to me, one of the greatest things that drive me from a sales point of view is that I want to win every customer that I deal with because there is a challenge. The more someone tells me that I cannot win that customer, the more I want to prove that I can do it. Are you with me so far? Okay. Next one is excellence. Excellence means doing things in a perfected mode. High perfection, the best. Do it the best. Do it in excellent form, right? That is different from achievement. Achievement means getting it done. Getting it done. Like, for example, when you want to go for some of these trips, your 17th Summit Convention, right? There are certain things you need to fulfill, certain criteria, certain cases, and certain FYP that you need to achieve. For you, if you are not driven by excellence, you don't go for the highest of the highest. You just want to meet the quota, because as long as you meet the quota, you have achieved. Okay? That's achievement. Final one is what we call responsibility and control. Some of us do it because we feel a sense of need to be responsible. We are in this business because we feel responsible, right? I hope that some of you will be in this business for the next 20 over years because you feel responsible for your customer, right? Because their life is your passion, okay? So these 8 things, very quickly, do a check mark now and list down your top 3 that you are motivated by, very quickly. So when you know, when your customers are driven by certain things which are highly motivated by them, right? You will know which type of sales message to also pitch to them. For example, if a customer is highly motivated by belonging and love, what kind of products would they be keen on? Sorry? Unit link? Maybe not. Maybe more traditional, because it's belonging and love, right? They want to have that build up that long-term savings for the family member. Unit link would be very good if it's something about growth and challenge, right? If you're motivated by growth and challenge. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Okay? So, try to use this understanding of motivation, of what motivates your customer, in order to know what kind of products you can actually focus with them on. Now, everybody changes their motivation depending on the time of the need of their life. Okay? It's not always the same. Now, how do we know the motivation of these people? When you know how to observe what motivates them, as what some of the quick examples that I've given you. Alright? So let's move on now to get to the core of what I want to tell you. Now, the first point I want to make, if you are in your handouts, I'm going to the main crux now, and I'll take about 20 plus minutes to share with you 3 key points. Share with you some key stories to help you take some insights going forward. The first point I want to make is take ownership. As a good salesperson or a salesperson who wants to be successful, one of the key things that we must always do is, number 1, take ownership. So everybody, on the count of 3, repeat after me. 1, 2, 3. Take ownership. Come on, a little bit more energy. Take ownership. Now, what are we talking about when we talk about take ownership? We're talking about this sense of urgency. In our business, we must have a great sense of urgency. Now, how many of you like to read history books? You like history books? There's this guy who is a military strategist. And some of us, in the English term, we call it Sun Tzu. Right? In Chinese, it's called Sun Tzu. In English, it's called Sun Tzu. Right? If you have time, you should read the sales version of the Sun Tzu that has been published out in the market. It tells you something very, very interesting. And here are some very quick things I want to make for you to help you understand what I mean by taking ownership, sense of urgency. Do you know that every minute that you are not with your customer, your competitor is with your customer? Are you with me so far? Correct, right? For every policy that your customer signs with your competitor, is it easier for you to sell another one to them? No, it gets harder. And with every new customer that is won by your competitor, it gets even more difficult for you. So in our business, do we have to be urgent? Yes, we don't waste time because we need to have that sense of urgency. And you read Sun Tzu, you know one of the key strategies is sense of urgency. The second one is eye for details. Eye for details means that you are always looking at how to give the best quality of service to your customer, because you want to make sure that whatever requirements that they mention to you, whatever financial packaging that you want to customize for them, that you are clear about the details. One of the key things in this business is details. A lot of customers, they just tell you, tell me whatever I need to pay and how, what happens, if I die, how much sum assured am I going to get? They just want all the basic information. But your job is not just basic information. Your job is actually to know the details. That means taking ownership. The third one is selling with passion. If you don't have passion in this business, right, you cannot survive. Correct? You cannot survive. Are you with me so far? If you don't have passion in this business, you cannot survive. Ravi, when this thing was taken, was 12 years old. Okay? So at 12 years old, he could speak about almost 10 languages. 10 languages. Today, he's 16 years old and he speaks many more languages. If you don't believe, you can take a trip down to Mumbai and go to the street side and look for him, and he'll be gladly selling you one of his peacock fan. Now, when we look at Ravi, what makes us interested about looking at Ravi? What's exciting about him? What do you think? It's not only just the language, right? Capability, but it is also his simple attitude about what selling is. He has this sense of not being worried about shame, what people will think about him. He's got a thick skin about it, and he just does it. And he is obviously passionate. Are you with me? Passion. In this business, we cannot survive if we're not passionate, because we're going to come to some challenges. And how do we handle those challenges? Let's go to the next point. And what I wanted to share with you is this idea of optimism. You see, when we take ownership, right? We take ownership even when situations are no good. Even when the customer rejects us, like one of my friends here said just now about challenges of handling objection. Even when the customer says no, countless times over and over again, we want to be optimistic. So what is optimistic, if you ask me? Let's look at some pictures. You remember this? You remember this? There was one time Thailand was flooded for weeks, right? For weeks. This was the car manufacturing. Yeah? Badly destroyed. The economy was badly destroyed. Yeah? And not too far away, right? We'll come back to this. Not too far away, you see what people do to make chance of opportunities. Quite intelligent, huh? Plastic bottles put together, try to maximize the opportunity, right? Because a pessimist is one who makes difficulty of opportunity. But an optimist is one who what? Makes opportunities of difficulties. Let's look at what happens when difficult times come. They build their own raft. People helping people. But it's not just one way, it's also the other way. And it's interesting what people do when difficult times come. They make opportunities of difficulties. They enjoy themselves and have a little bit of a waterfall treatment, a little bit of massage treatment, and check out what this person does. Make opportunities of difficulties. So, when you are optimistic, you tend to see beyond. You try to take ownership of your future. Your future is in whose hands? Your future is in whose hands? Your own hands. Being optimistic means you take ownership of your own future. One of the best ways I can suggest to you to be optimistic is to be positive, yeah? Optimistic means what? Is to be positive in difficult times. Is to be positive in negative situation. Here's a quick secret for you. If you really want to be positive, even when the situation is negative, always look for option. You know what I mean by option, right? Customer tells you, I'm not free to see you this whole week. As a matter of fact, next week I'm traveling. As a matter of fact, when I come back 3 weeks later, I'll give you a call. Have you heard that before? Does he ever call you back? No. When you ever get these kind of things, don't stop there. It can easily become very negative in a negative situation. Here's the secret. Always create 5 options. In any negative situation, create 5 options. Why 5? Why not 3? Because 3 is too common, right? Create 5 options or 5 ways to solve it. So every time when you have a situation, create 5 ways. Always think of 5 ways. What are some ways? Well, you could tell the customer, I tell you what, let me call you back next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Okay? Maybe you can even ask the customer, oh, by the way, where will you be next week? Perhaps if I can buy you coffee. Or perhaps you can think about, would it be possible if I meet up with your wife first? See, there are many things that you can think of, right? The more options you have, at least 5, the more positive you become in a negative situation. Are you with me so far? Okay, point number 2. Consistent activity creates big opportunities. Consistent activity creates big opportunities. Okay, turn to your neighbor and say, create opportunities. Create opportunities. What create opportunities? Activity. Okay, activity. Now, I have a very simple concept when it comes to activity. A very, very simple concept when it comes to activity. Alright? And I call it the APA concept. So by now you should be asking me APA too. Come on. APA, okay, I'm glad you asked. So APA stands for active, positive, and aggressive. Active, positive, and aggressive. If you can just do these 3 things consistently, every day, you tell yourself, am I being active? Am I being positive? Am I being aggressive? I tell you, success comes just like this. Right? So everybody should say now, apa tu? Active, positive, aggressive. So everybody repeat after me. Active, positive, aggressive. Okay, so we're going to do an activity, a very short activity, a very simple activity. I want you all to stand up right now. Stand up right now. Okay, this is a APA activity. Are you with me? It's an APA activity. Okay? Now, when I shout out a number, I want you to gather in that group, a group that represents the number. So if I shout out 5, you have to go into a group of 5 people. Are you with me? If I shout 8, then 8 lah. Okay? So this is an APA activity, okay? Active, positive, and aggressive. Okay, let's try that. Let's try a simple one. Groups of 2. Very quick. Okay. All right. Groups of 4. Groups of 4. Okay, that's a group. All right, groups of 4. Okay, you must move around apa activity ma. Okay, ready? Groups of 6. All right, doing well. Don't cheat. Okay, wow, grab all over the place. Very good. Now, are you ready? Group of 12. Go. Go. All right, very good. Groups of 15. This is not just an APA activity, it's an AGA activity also. All right, are you ready? Groups of 20. Groups of 20, come on. Simply. One final one, Now pay attention. Get into groups of 10. Okay? You're going to get into groups of 10, and the first group of 10 that can come up with 10 1 ringgit note, come up here, you'll get a prize. 10 1 ringgit note. Group of 10. Come. And okay. Sorry. Line cut off already. Okay. Mr. Tan, please have a look at your new MDRT group of people. It only starts with $1. Okay, so for that $1, you can keep your $1. Each of you gets to have a flashlight to remember your running up here. Here you go. Let me give you one with the wrapper. Okay. Here you go. And here you go. All right. Very good. Please give them a big hand. Now, won't it be exciting, right? When we launch a campaign, that all of us get excited and run out and grab the customers like this. All right, so turn to your neighbor and say, are you ready to APA? Okay, and what is APA? Active, positive, and aggressive. Okay, very good. Now, in your business, you have your own version of active activity. Okay? In business, generally speaking, I don't know how many of you have thought about it deep enough. Do you recognize in your daily success diary, there's one part that talks a lot about the activity, the premium calculator indicator? Yes? Now, I was actually doing some comparison with what I saw, and I realized that maybe a lot of us didn't see it from this point of view. And very quickly, I would just want to show it to you. Do you know that when you want to run a business, in any business you want to run, there are always few things that bring you to a certain revenue. Okay? There are always a few things that bring you to a certain revenue. And if you're running a business, this would be the idea. The number of customers times by the average amount that they buy times by the number of times that they buy will become my revenue, correct or not? Correct or not? Right? So, the more each customer buys, the higher they buy, and the more customer I have, will it all improve? Yes. Which one is more important? They are all important, right? Because if you just improve a little bit of each of them, the results will also come out that way. So in your business, do you remember what your premium indicator looks like? I hope you do. Okay? Now, if you don't, it looks like this. Number of weekly closing interviews times average case value times your closing ratio equals your weekly premium indicator. Now, why is this important? Because this is one thing I want you to remember when we do APA. APA is just not APA 2. APA has a reason behind that. The reason is very simple why we do the things we do. The reason is very simple why you do the things you do. The reason is this. You cannot improve what you cannot measure. You cannot improve what you cannot measure. If at all you are not doing something that you are measuring, you will not be able to improve where you want to go. That's why the first thing I asked you was on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with your business today? Because first of all, you need to know what you need to measure. Are you with me so far? You cannot improve what you cannot measure. All right. Last point I want to make. Attitude is everything. If I were to do a B, C, D, E, F, G till Z, and if I would put a number of 1 to 26, there is a certain mathematics behind it, isn't it? So if I use the word knowledge, and I add up all the numbers together, K for 11, N for 14, O for 15, and so on and so forth, I get 95%. If I do hard work, and I put all the numbers together, I get how many? Only 98%. But then, as if it was dropped from the sky given to us by God, attitude, when you put the number together, is equals 100%. Ooh, very interesting, isn't it? So today, it's your attitude about APA that's supposed to make the difference for you. Your attitude equals 100%. So, the final point is about attitude. A winning attitude and a focus to make a difference. Hold strong to doing good. Never give up. The business that we are doing is a business of helping people. Would you agree? It's a business that changed life. It not only changed your customer's life, it changed our life. Winston Churchill. You know Winston Churchill? If you read the history of Winston Churchill, it's very, very interesting. He's one of those guys that are very popular during the World War II, okay? As a Prime Minister of England. Now, of UK. But if you think about this, he said something that will forever go into the top speeches of the world. You know the top speeches of the world? There's a book called The Top 50 Speeches of the World. And he said one speech that changed the world forever. And I hope that as you remember this, it will also change your life forever. He said this very powerful speech. He said this. He said, never, 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 never give up. 7 words that made a speech go into the world's record of the top 50 most famous speech in the world. Never, 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 never give up. In our business, we cannot give up. We cannot give up. So, as we wind down to the end, okay, so we look at the video, and obviously it's crazy, right? I mean, isn't it so simple that you should just get off the thing and just walk lah, you know? We should be like that. But you know what? Life is exactly that weird, isn't it? When we are stuck in the situation in ourselves, when we are doing that daily thing ourselves, we don't see things as accurate or as big picture as we should. Right? We get stuck and locked into the whole idea. You see, ladies and gentlemen, change is coming upon you. Change is coming upon you. No longer is going for silver good enough. We have to go for gold. We have to always go for the best. We have always got to measure ourselves. We have always got to improve ourselves so that we are moving forward. just like the escalator, they don't have to move much. He just has to take one step forward. As long as he's taking one step forward, he's not going back. He's not stuck. One step forward, eventually you reach there. You get one recruited agent. You train him up or train her up. She starts to get one case at a time. You recruit another agent. One case at a time. One case at a time. One case at a time. We are moving up one case, one step at a time. Before you know it, success is very near, knocking there. So ladies and gentlemen, is it important for you to go for gold? Yes, it's very important because going for gold means going for the best. You have to be the best. Okay? Now, let me end with this one final point. Let me end with this one final point. Life is like a pencil, as what we call it. Not any type of pencil, a specific pencil. A pencil with an eraser at the end. You still can buy this kind of pencil. Our life is like a pencil, We start our life all needing some kind of guidance by people, right? We all need, it's just like a pencil, it needs to be picked up to be guided. So all of us attend programs, we attend meetings, we attend sessions like this because we want to learn, because we know that we all need to be guided in order to be really productive. And when you go through life, just like a pencil, your pencil will become what? Blunt. But thank God you can resharpen because there's always a sharpener. That's why we're here. And the third thing is that a pencil, right, can be very hard on the outside, but it's certainly soft in the inside. And just like you. And as you think that you have made some things that you cannot change, thank God at the end of the day, there's still the eraser to erase the mistakes that you may have made. But remember, we are in this business for a reason, and it's to leave a mark, to make our life count, right? To make our life count.